everyone. Good evening, guys. This is Komal Gyamlani Santani here. Welcomes you all on one and only yours Dhruvika Academy YouTube channel, where we are discussing previous year questions of PGCET MCA. Yes, guys. I hope that you have watched the previous videos of this series and practiced those questions well, because you are going to find similar questions in the exam. So guys, let's start our today's session with the question that we left unsolved yesterday due to some technical issues. So let's all continue the session with that question only. So quickly take out your register and solve with me the very important questions. So, yesterday the class ended on this question. The price of the sugar decreases by 30%. Just a minute, guys. Just a minute. This is something a different question. Okay. We ended the class at this question. Yeah. The price of the sugar has increased by 20%. Okay. By how much percentage the consumption be decreased so that expenditure will not increase? So for solving this question, you must be very clear with the concept of a relationship between price, quantity and expenditure. Okay. So what is the concept behind these three terms? The concept is, listen very carefully. This is very important, and if you understood the concept well, you will be able to solve similar type of questions very faster with this very short concept. So the concept is, see, if the price suppose increases by 10%, then expenditure will also increase by 10%, keeping quantity consumed constant. Okay, so understand very carefully. I'll give you just one simple example. Suppose the price of sugar is 20 rupees. Okay, and right now we are consuming 10 kg of sugar. How much we are consuming? 10 kg. Okay, so if we are consuming 10 kg, so can you tell me what is the expenditure we are incurring? 20 into 10, that is 200 rupees. That is 200 rupees we are incurring. Now what happened? That there is a sudden 10% increase in the price of sugar. So what is the 10% of 20? That is 2. So now the price has reached at 22. Now the price has reached at 22. Now if you want to keep the quantity consumed constant, then naturally your expenditure will increase. Yes or no? So I assume that my quantity consumed is 10 kg only. Okay. So now what will be my new expenditure? 22 into 10, that is 220 rupees. Yes. Yes. Now if I find the percentage change in expenditure, what is that? 20 upon 200. Yes. My expenditure increased by 20. So what is the percentage change in the expenditure? 20 upon the original one, that is 220 upon 200. And what is the percentage value of this? 10%. See, price increased by 10% and expenditure also increased by 10% when quantity was constant. Yes, are you able to get that? Are you able to get that? So expenditure changes in the same proportion as the price changes if quantity consumed is kept constant. Is kept constant. Okay. So from this we can say that the ratio of old price and new price is always equal to the ratio of old expenditure to new expenditure when quantity is constant. Okay, so both are directly related. Who both? Yes, we are talking about price and expenditure. Now, what if the question says, no, we don't want to increase the expenditure. If price is increasing, we will consume less, but we won't increase the expenditure. Okay, so in that situation, what we need to do, we need to reduce the consumption. Right? Now, in order to find that reduction in the consumption, you need to understand that expenditure and quantity are inversely related here. Expenditure and quantity are inversely related. That means the ratio of old expenditure and new expenditure is equal to ratio of Q2 upon Q1. Can you see the inverse relationship? Old expenditure upon new expenditure is equivalent to new quantity consumed upon old quantity. Okay, I'll just tell you the short trick. You'll understand it very easily. Okay, so let's do the question and understand. So it says price of the sugar has increased by 20%. So not moving forward, just by this statement, what can I assume? Price has increased by 20%. I'm not talking about the further information. Just by reading this one sentence, what do you understand? Price of sugar has increased by 20%. That means expenditure has also increased by 20%. So I can say my old expenditure was if 100, my new expenditure would be 120. Yes or no? It has increased by 20%. By just reading first sentence, I can assume this. Now, in the next sentence, they are saying by how much percentage the consumption be decreased so that expenditure will not increase. Now they are saying, no, we don't want to increase the expenditure. Keep the expenditure as same. We want to incur only 100 rupees. Now you just tell me how much should I reduce my consumption to keep my expenditure constant. Now how to quickly calculate this? We assumed what? That our expenditure has increased to 120. But they are saying no, keep expenditure as 100. We said okay. Now we are at 120. We need to come back at 100. That is, we are going reverse. So the reverse ratio of expenditure is actually equal to what? The consumption's ratio. Yes, the consumption ratio. So what are they saying by what percentage consumption should be decreased? So whatever percentage change, we are going to calculate this through this equation. Although it is with respect to expenditure, but since we are going reverse, it is actually indicating about what? Consumption. Okay, so this is the trick to calculate it. So we were at 120, we are to come at 100. So what we will do to come back at 100, we'll reduce the expenditure by 20. Okay, but from where we are going? 120 to 100. So with respect to 120, we are coming back at 100. So that's why we put 120 in the denominator. So quickly solve this. 1 by 6, and we all know that 1 by 6 is equivalent to what? 16.66%. That is option C. I hope you got it. So this is a very simple explanation. From the given information of price, changes in price, we concluded about expenditure. We made the situation of expenditure, and from there we concluded about consumption. So this is the chain. So whatever was given, it was regarding the price. We took the information regarding the expenditure from it and converted it into consumption. Okay, got it? I hope it is pretty clear in your mind. Tick. Now let's proceed to the next question, guys. Similar pattern. This type of question you will find in your exams. See, what are they saying? The price of the sugar decreases by 20%. Okay, so by the first statement, what do you understand? Price is decreasing by 20%. That means it is indicating about expenditure also. So by whatever percentage price is decreasing, expenditure will also decrease, keeping quantity constant. Okay, so keeping that assumption in mind, let's frame the situation. So our old expenditure was 100. Now the new expenditure is 80, right? Because the price has fallen, expenditure will also fall. Okay, now what are they saying? By how much percentage consumption is increased? See, price has fallen, so with the same income you can consume more, right? So what are they saying? By how much percentage consumption is increased, so that expenditure will fall by only 4%. What we have done? We have decreased the expenditure by 20%, but they are saying to decrease the expenditure only by 4%. They are not asking you to come back at 100. They are asking you to reduce the original expenditure, that is 100, by 4%, that is 96. Yes, they are asking you to come at 96. So where are we actually? We are at 80. We have reduced our consumption by 20% and reached at 80, but they are saying no, 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 don't sit at 80, come back at 96. So how you will come back at 96? You'll have to increase it by 16, right? So 16 upon what? From where are we going to what? To where? Yes, 80 to 96. So we are at 80. So 16 upon 80, that is 1 by 5. That is 20%. That is option A. So I hope it is clear. I hope it is pretty clear in your mind how to deal with this type of question. Yes. So let's proceed to another similar type of question, a little bit advanced one. It says the price of the sugar decreases by 30%. So with this statement, what can you assume? Price has fallen by 30%. That means what? Expenditure has also fallen by 30%, right? So I can write it like this. My old expenditure was 100. Just a second. Yes, my old expenditure was 100 and my new expenditure would be my old expenditure has decreased by 30%, so my new expenditure would be 70. Okay, now further they are saying due to this a family uses 40 kg less sugar. Okay, so that expenditure increases by 10% only. Okay. I think there is again a typing error in this question. Just a second. Just a second. Hold on. I'll just match it up. Just give me a minute, guys. Yeah, it's increases. It's not decreases, it's increases. No worries, we'll just make a change accordingly. So what is the question saying? The price of the sugar increases by 30%. So originally we were incurring an expenditure of 100 rupees. Now since it has increased by 30%, we'll incur how much? 130. Will incur how much? 130. This old and new, what is this? This is actually the ratio of old expenditure and new expenditure, right? So what is happening? Due to this, a family uses 40 kg less sugar. Price has increased. If we consume the same quantity, our expenditure will also increase by 30%. But what are they saying? The family has reduced the consumption. That means consumption is not constant, right? So due to this, a family uses 40 kg less sugar, so that expenditure increases by 10% only. Expenditure increases by 10% only. So what have we done? And further, what are they asking you to find the original consumption. So in the previous question, our question was only related to finding out the percentage, but here we are required to find the absolute values, right? So what are they saying? Find the original consumption. Okay, one step further they have asked. So we anyhow we need to find the percentage change in the consumption. Now that percentage change in the consumption is actually equivalent to what? 40 kg. Okay, this 40 kg is nothing but the fall in the consumption. So in the previous question we were finding out the percentage fall in the consumption, and in this question they have already given you the fall in the consumption. Because they have given you the fall in the consumption, through this you can find out the original consumption. So for that, first of all we need to find the percentage change. Okay, let's quickly do it. So we have assumed that our expenditure has increased by 30% and reached at 130, but they are saying no, we want the expenditure to increase only by 10%. That is, we want the expenditure to be at 110, but we have assumed it to be 130. So what we will do, we will reduce it by 20. We will reduce it by 20 upon 130. Okay, so 2 upon 30 is the percentage fraction indicating about the percentage fall in the consumption. Now we have the absolute quantity of the consumption. So you can either do by the unitary method, or you can do by multiplying this fraction by original consumption. I'll tell you how to do it. See, one way you can do this is original consumption into 2 by 13 is equivalent to what? 40 kg. Is equivalent to what? 40 kg. So original consumption would be 40 into 13 upon 2, that is 260, option B. This is one way of doing this question, or even you can do it by unitary method. We know the percentage fraction 2 by 13. So what is 13? It is the original consumption. What is 2? What is 2? Decrease in consumption. So which is given in the question as 40. So we need to find original consumption. Just cross multiply it. That is, x is equal to 40 into 13 upon 2. 40 into 13 upon 2. So again you will get the same answer, that is 260. So either way either way you can solve it. I hope it is clear. Okay, now next important question. Next very important question. It says a salesman is allowed 12% commission on the total sales made by him, and bonus of 1% on the sales above rupees 15,000 if the total earnings is rupees 7,650. Find the total sales. See, you can solve this question by traditional approach, but here I am only telling you the trick to solve this question quickly. Okay, so what are they saying? A salesman is allowed 12% commission on the total sales. Whatever total sales he is making, he is definitely going to get 12% on that, right? So if I make a number line like this, what is this number line? This is total sales. So on this total sales overall, he is going to get 12%, that is for sure. But further they said he will get a bonus of 1% on the sales above rupees 15,000. So if I divide total sales into two parts, I divide total sales into two parts. I divide total sales into two parts. The first 15,000 and the one which is above 15,000. Is it clear? the first part representing the first 15,000 worth sales, and the second part representing the sales more than 15,000. So on the 15,000, on the first 15,000 and on the sales above 15,000, I am definitely going to get 12%, because I said, because it is given that you are going to get 12% on total sales. But whatever you sell more than 15,000, on that you are going to get additional 1% commission. Additional 1% commission. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. Now further they are saying, if the total earnings is 7,650, they are saying earnings is 7,650 means that whatever commission he has earned is equivalent to what? 7,650. So what will be the total sales amount? They are asking you to find. It's very easy. See, you can solve it in both the directions. I am giving you one direction. You can solve in the either direction also. See, right now on 15,000 he is getting 12%. On the sales more than 15,000 he is getting 13%. Okay. If I assume that on total sales I am getting 13% commission. Okay. If on total sales I am getting 13% commission, you are able to understand that on one part of the sale I am getting 12% commission, on other part of the sale I am getting 13% commission. So what am I assuming here? I am assuming that let's have percentage commission on total sales be 13%. If I assume my percentage of commission as 13% on total sales, my commission, the given commission, would increase by some amount. Yes or no? By what amount it will increase? The only difference in the information given and what I made the assumption is that I am not getting here 1%, right? So if I assume that I am getting 13% on the total sales, I'll have to increase this first part commission by 1%. I'm already getting 12% on that, but since I have assumed that I'm getting 13%, I have to increase this by 1%. That is, I'll earn 1% more here because of the assumption I made. So for that reason, my commission would increase by 1% of 15,000. Yes or no? Yes. So what is 1% of 15,000? That is 150. So earlier I was getting 7,650. Now since I assume that I am getting 13% on total sales, my earnings would increase by 1% of 15,000, that is 150, and now my earnings would come out to be 7,800. And what is this 7,800? It is nothing but 13% of total sales, which is 7,800. So total sales will be equivalent to 7,800 into 100 upon 13. Just cancel it out and you will get 60,000. You will get 60,000. So this is a new way of solving this question. You do have a traditional approach to solve it. What is that traditional approach? What you can do is, you can calculate the commission like this. I'll just show you in this way. On 15,000, on the sales till 15,000 you are getting 12%. That means 15,000 into 12% plus whatever you sell more than 15,000. Let's assume that sales to be X. On that you are getting 13%, right? Now this total commission is equal to what? 7,650. So what is 12% of 15,000? That is 800. So X into 1300, 13 upon 100 is equal to 7650 minus 1800. So you will get 5850 into 100 divided by 13. So 13 fours are 40, 13 fours are 52, and then 6 carry over. So the additional sales that you are making is 45,000 and plus 15,000. 45,000 plus 15,000, that is equivalent to 60,000, the total sales. This way also you can solve it. This way also you can solve it. No issues in that. But you should be clear with the concept that why are we doing this thing. Okay. So be very clear with the concept, guys. Now let's proceed to the next question, guys. When 30% of a number is added to another number, okay, 30% of a number is added to another number. So let's assume the two numbers as x and y. 30% of a number, that means x into 3 by 10 is added to another number, that is y. The second number becomes 140% of itself. So the sum of these two values is equal to what? The sum of these two values is equal to what? 140% of y, right? 140% of y. So 140% is equivalent to what? 7 by 5. So x into 3 by 10 plus y is equal to 7y upon 5. Okay, clear? So what you basically need to find out, what is the ratio between the first and the second number. It's very easy. You just need to transpose y to the other side and calculate the ratio. So x into 3 by 10 is equal to 7y upon 5 minus y, and when you will take the LCM, you will find it as 2y upon 5, right? So 3x upon 10 is equivalent to 2y upon 5, so it will get cancelled. 2, so 3x is equal to 4y. X upon y is equal to 4 is to 3, that is option B. That is option B. Okay, let's proceed to the next question, guys. It says, this is a question of simple interest. It says, a man borrowed some money at the rate 6% for the first 2 years. Okay, for the first 2 years he is paying interest at the rate 6%. Fine. At the rate 9% for the next 3 years. For the next 3 years he is paying 9%. Okay, and 14% per annum for the period beyond 5 years. So for whatever time period he has borrowed, after 5 years he has to pay 14%. Okay. If he pays total interest of rupees 11,400, it's not 1140, it is 11,400, at the end of 9 years, how much money did he borrow? They are asking you to find the principal. So he has borrowed the money for 9 years, right? He has borrowed the money for 9 years. So let's assume the principal to be P. For the first 2 years, he will be paying interest at the rate 6%. Then for the next 3 years, he will be paying interest at the rate 9%. And he has borrowed the money for 9 years. So beyond 5 years, how much is the extra time? 4 years. So for 4 years, he will be paying 14% interest. So all in all, total interest he paid is 11,400. So what we will do, we'll take P and 100 common. So what we are left with inside the bracket, 12 plus 27 plus 56, which is equal to 11,400. Quickly added 12 plus 27, that's 39. 39 plus 56, that is 95. So P upon 100 into 95 is equal to 11,400. So if you are good at tables, so you'll quickly able to recognize these are the multiples of table of 19, right? So that's 5 star and that is 6 star, right? Yes. So that's 120. So principal will come out to be 12,000. That's option C. That's option C. Okay, so I believe whatever questions, concepts that we discussed yesterday and today are pretty clear in your mind. Also, I'm sure that you have got yourself registered with us, that is at Dhruvika Academy, and you are availing the wonderful benefits that we are providing. Already discussed with you guys that at this academy you are getting features of live classes, that is, you are getting the facility of live interaction with the faculties, and even if you miss some classes due to some contingency, you have an option of recorded sessions. And the biggest advantage that we are providing you, that you get an access to all the upcoming batches till September. So the validity of the registration you are getting is till September. Also, you are going to get 50 mock tests to prepare for the exam, to prepare for the exam in a much systematic way. So guys, quickly get yourself registered with us and start your preparations, because batches have already started. Okay, so get yourself registered, and yes, make sure that you join our WhatsApp group also, because there you are going to get all the latest updates regarding the upcoming batches, tests, everything. So guys, see you in the next session, that is tomorrow at the same timing. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye. Thank you so much.